The spicy nacho stack.
How many Pringles flavor stack combinations are there?
318,000. Sadly, I'll never know the joy of tasting any, for I have no hands to stab with, no mouth to taste with, no soul to feel with. I am at the mercy of a cruel and uncaring.
Oh, play Funky Town.
There's a Pringle stack for everyone, sort of.
So you might not traditionally think about Pringles as a well-being brand, but I think you can start to see how it's important that we serve the consumers from an emotional point of view just as much as we do from a physical and a societal point of view. So, W.K. Kellogg was an original well-being visionary, and really we are so excited within Kellogg, but also I'm excited about across the whole food industry, about where well-being is going to take us into the future. I started by saying these are volatile times. They certainly are volatile times, but they also are extraordinarily exciting times in terms of what's going to be possible for people and well-being as we look into the future. And now I'm happy to answer any questions if there are.
Can I just ask you actually, Dr. Nigel, with regards to who you're connected with and sourcing with through suppliers, producers, the producers of the ingredients going into your food?
Well, we're doing more and more partnership. First of all, we're doing more and more partnership in general. And I talked about the fact that today food is about ecosystems, innovation is about ecosystems, and that's really important. And for us, what we're interested in is connecting with people who can support us in terms of the new frontiers of science, be it around fiber, be it around things like prebiotics, probiotics. But then, as I alluded to in terms of the transparency, going up the chain in terms of connecting with people regarding sourcing of our raw ingredients. If you look at that space, one of the interesting things that's happening is not only the sustainability dimension, it's also work that's going on now to ensure that micronutrients don't need to be added to food, but actually you can grow food that is higher in micronutrients. There's a lot of exciting work going on in that space.
Yeah, very interesting. And your thoughts on organic? Do we have to go organic?
I think the question of organic or not organic is actually a question of probably 5 to 10 years ago, quite frankly. Some consumers are passionate about organic, some are not. What's more interesting is how can we give traceability to consumers? How can we ensure that they can understand where their food is from, how it's been processed, and how they're getting it? For some people, it's very important to them that has a label which is organic. To other people, that's not so important. But ensuring that they can understand where it's from and how it's been processed is critically important.
It's interesting. I think it's an interesting education for this part of the world. So, any questions?
Right here at the back. Here. Okay.
Yes.
I had a comment. Maybe I sound a little cynical, but what I see in your Pringles ad is just another attempt to change your branding and marketing. I essentially don't see any change you brought about in Pringles. So are you really serious, or are you just changing your brand and labeling and making it more emotional?
No, we are very serious. Over years, we've lowered the sodium levels in Pringles to ensure that it's better placed from a physical well-being point of view. And I think it's really important that we lose some of this paradox of taste and health. And well-being, emotional well-being is a very real thing. It's a very, very real thing. And celebrating that, I think, is really very, very important.
If I may ask the question, another one is that isn't reducing sodium like saying we made a horrible product before, and then now we are making it slightly better, and we are calling it great?
No, what it is actually changing and developing food because we have a deeper understanding of that food, and we have a deeper understanding of what that food does. That's a continuous evolution. I've been doing that for 30 years of my career.
Any other questions? We'll get a microphone. Just put your hand up and we'll get a microphone to you. Yes, thank you.
There's a fair amount of consumer education that goes into this space, which I've personally been facing as a challenge. I also attempted building health food brands in the fresh food space. So I just wanted to know if there were any best practices or how you guys look at educating the consumer, because obviously there's a lot of benefit to this, but then you're limited to the shelf space, and that's where the consumer's interacting with you for the most part.
Yes. No, that's a fundamental. The ability to be able to bring the consumer along, to educate the consumer. The exciting thing about that is we have so many more tools to do that today than we did have 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The way in which we can interact with consumers and the way in which consumers are actually accessing more and more information and finding more and more interest in understanding more about their food, I think is a huge opportunity. The way you ask the question, I think, is quite an interesting one, because you set it up as a problem. Actually, I look at it the other way around. Consumers are more passionate about food. We are all more passionate about food than we've ever been. And there's more and more interest. I was interested listening to one of the chef's panels yesterday. There's more and more interest in how food is made, how I can interact with that food in different ways. And so I think it's through that we engage the consumer.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you. Could you please elaborate a little more on this trend about the friendly bacteria and the gut, where it's coming from and where do you think it's going to?
Oh, I firmly believe it truly is the next paradigm shift for food and science in general, and the whole wellbeing space. Work on this area. Well, if you go back many years, there was work on this area before the Second World War. It's interesting what happened once the antibiotic notion caught hold. Work in this area pretty much stopped. Two things have happened. We've started to understand the limitations of actually just destroying all the bacteria in our environment simply because we can't. But also at the same time, we've gained new and powerful methods to be able to analyze, as I mentioned, these bacteria through their DNA. And so the science in this space is one of the most exciting areas. It's advancing every single week, every single month. And for me, we're going to see this truly transform the way in which people look at the food and the food they consume.
Dr. Nigel Hughes, thank you very much for your time. Very interesting indeed. And you can hear Dr. Nigel Hughes again later on this afternoon at 14:20. He'll be joining the panel talking about smart operations, blockchain, artificial intelligence in the food chain.